Several regional travelers are, to the best of the consortium's understanding, still stranded in Barbados after InterCaribbean Airways canceled flights on Tuesday. A report from Barbados today, Thursday, stated that several Grenada-bound passengers were stuck in Barbados when two flights out of the country were cancelled. Passengers on the 11:05 a.m. flight were informed of delays about 5 times, the publication reports, and were ultimately told that they would have to overnight in Barbados about 8 hours after their scheduled flight time, after the 5:30 p.m. flight was also delayed and eventually cancelled. Attorney Ray Thomas told BT reporters that she was trying to return home from the just concluded COP27 and expressed frustration that the last leg of her long journey had been complicated in this manner. Thomas said that she checked in around 9 a.m. on Tuesday, after which she and the other passengers were informed that their 11:05 a.m. flight had been delayed. At noon, another delay was announced, and at 1 p.m., $30 food vouchers were reportedly distributed, and the passengers told departure would now be at 5 p.m. At 4 o'clock, another delay announced. This time, passengers were told that it was due to required maintenance. Sometime after 5 o'clock, those waiting were informed that only the people whose travel terminated in St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be allowed to board what was supposed to have been a connecting flight onwards to Grenada. Thomas says passengers bound for Grenada were told that they would be accommodated on a subsequent flight half an hour later, but just before 7 p.m., that flight was also cancelled due to weather conditions, according to InterCaribbean. According to Thomas, the stranded passengers were then left to collect their bags and find their own accommodation for the night. They were told that there would be a plane at 10:30 a.m. Wednesday to take them home, but when she returned to the airport in the morning, she found out that the flight had been delayed until noon. Further, apparently only passengers whose names appeared on a list would be able to board that recovery flight. Unfortunately for Thomas, her name was not one of those called. Neither was the name of Greville Sharp, the business development manager of a UK-based export company. Sharp's account of what transpired on Tuesday and Wednesday coincided with Thomas's description. He and his two traveling companions were booked on the 5:30 p.m. Tuesday flight, were stranded in Barbados when it was cancelled, and were not allowed to board the supposed recovery flight on Wednesday. The Barbados Union of Teachers president, Rudy Lovell, was also left out on Wednesday. He had been booked on the 11:05 a.m. flight on Tuesday. In fact, nobody who was left behind on Tuesday was able to board InterCaribbean's flight the next day. About 4 p.m. Wednesday, it was announced that the flight was overbooked and only pre-booked passengers would be allowed on, meaning that those who had been left behind on Tuesday were once again stranded in Barbados on Wednesday. Consortium journalists sent inquiries to the Turks and Caicos Islands-based carrier, asking what arrangements have been made to ensure all booked passengers arrive at their destinations and whether the company has communicated any information about compensation to the passengers who were stranded. We have not received a response as of press time. We also spoke to a source at the Morris Bishop Airport in Grenada who confirmed some of the irate passengers' account. An InterCaribbean flight did land in Grenada from Barbados, but only carrying passengers who had been booked on that flight, not those who had been left behind due to the cancellations. Both Thomas and Sharp said they were disgusted by their treatment at the hands of InterCaribbean Airways. Thomas spoke wistfully about storied regional carrier Liat, saying that while complaints abounded about Liat's tardiness, she was still always able to get to her destination on the day of her scheduled flights with that carrier. Thomas also complained that InterCaribbean staff in Barbados lacked answers to the frustrated passengers' many questions. Sharp went as far as calling for the government of Barbados to ban InterCaribbean Airways from flying to the country due to their overwhelming incompetence. As of press time, our source in Grenada has indicated that no recovery flight has been organized to rescue the stranded passengers.